Alright, go ahead and close your laptops if they're not already closed. This is model creation day 1. This video is talking about passes, work ethics, production workflow. Alright, when I talk about passes, what I mean is working in different phases of within your production workflow. And you're going to do this in real life. Okay, you're just not going. There's not going to be a time where you don't have a schedule. That's why you have producers, project managers. That their job is to set up a proper timeline so that the job gets done. And I try to use that same workflow in here so you guys can use that same workflow. I use that same workflow whenever I'm making anything because it makes my life easier. I'm not the I can't remember everything. I can't just say from start to beginning because I'll get distracted. I want to make things prettier. I want to make things much more intricate. I want to go and do a certain process, and before you know it, my project never gets done. And I have folders upon folders of work that I've always wanted to finish that just never got done because I've become a scientist about this stuff. I research and research and research. It's good, and at the same time it's bad because nothing gets done. So to think about this, run out of memory. To think about this, talk about blocking out. And blocking out is just getting the initial shape, the gesture established. And let me write on this real quick. And what I mean by blocking out, you can make a picture. Picture of a car. This is not the best looking car, but this is blocked out. This can be refined. I can give this to my client and say, you want something like, maybe this is what you're talking about? And they're like, yeah, it's a car. And I'm like, okay, yeah, got it. And so I give them this, and I take this home, and then I refine it, you know, draw it on different paper. And essentially that's what we're doing. We're moving in passes, blocking out. So I tell you guys that as we move along, and you guys will forget, you guys are going to make this geometry for the first time, and some of you will say, the hood is not good enough for me, I need to redo this. Okay, everyone else is moving on. The hood's still not good enough for me, I got to redo this. And before you know it, it's like the second week and you're still working on the hood. Everyone else has moved on because you don't have any type of workflow that's helping you to move forward. The way I do this is, you saw that I made a very crude car. Yes, it's not correct, but we have 10 more days, 4 weeks to get through this. Lots of time. That's not the final car. There's no final output. If you go through this process of working in passes, you will have a final car that you can continue to tweak and make look good. You just won't have a really pretty hood. So block out is really just getting the initial shape, the gesture established, as you'll learn in animation, just the initial shape. In first pass, we're going to go through, make sure all the geometry is created. In second pass, we're going to talk about the textures, the secondary components, the door handles, moon roofs, the lights, the grill, so forth. And in third pass, that's where we have everything modeled out. We're just going to go through and clean up all our geometry, make sure it looks good. Take out things that bother you, and then in your final pass it would just be your polish and the things that you don't like about it. I've always wanted to put textures on my car, racing decals. I want to put a spoiler on here. I want to put ground effects. I want to put light effects on there. That's where you get into final pass. A lot of times, I'm not gonna say a lot of times, most time people get to third pass properly. In final pass, people don't really take it that far unless you really put in a lot of time with your car. So with passes, this document will also be in your with your syllabus. Let's look at two different cars. This is from last term. You'll notice that I'm making a poster. They're on there right now. This car was very well done. This individual did an amazing job. This student asked if he could do the Lotus, and I said, yeah, if you have all 4 views, you can do the Lotus. But if you don't have all 4 views, I'm not going to torture you and say it's going to be easy. if you don't have all four views, it's really difficult to do this, especially if you've never done it. So this guy's a prior Los Angeles film student. He actually didn't have all four views, and he built them. He traced them in Illustrator and made his own views. So he was proactive about what he wanted to do. He was really adamant about doing this car. Now, if we look at the individual component, let's look at this hood real quick. Go to wireframe unshaded. The geometry is very well put. He has mostly quads in here. He may have a few triangles. Triangles are okay. A few triangles are okay. N-gons aren't. Just polygons with more than four sides, excuse me. The surface flow works very well here. I'm just drawing this real quick. Surface flow works very well. He has edges going this way that don't just automatically just jump off and do whatever they want. I go into 3 mode with this. Smooth mesh. Car looks very, very good. This is a very good example of what having a proper workflow, understanding what needs to be done. He asked a lot of questions. He did a lot of research. This car right here is an A. He took it a step ahead. He has a windshield washer. Excuse me, a wiper. He didn't have door handles on here, but he does have a keyhole in here. That could have easily been a texture. Intake, tires.
That was the guy from my class?
Yeah, this is Morgan Mead.
Now, how do you get all the parts to stay together? Are they symmetrical to each other? Are you snapping them once you build them?
Hang on, I'll answer these questions in a minute. Yeah. So, yeah, this is an A car. Pretty much nothing I can point out. Only I can just talk good things about. Let's look at a car that the guy received a B in my class, and he received a B for split show on. But his car wasn't the best in terms of demonstrating the let's just select this thing. Demonstrating the model creation techniques. This happens sometimes. Take this to 3. We all have different understandings of working with computers. So sometimes this may not be the best example. I mean, understanding Maya may not be as easy for everyone. See how this is pinching right here? His vertices aren't merged. If I hand this off or I stick this in a game engine, it's going to crash. This isn't sewn together. See how that's falling apart there? I have this in 3 mode. This is actually a B car. This guy, he didn't get the process all the way through, but the great thing is he showed up at 8 o'clock every morning when class was there, showed up before I did, and he did everything. He went through the process of it. He just got the car built. I sat with him. We worked on pushing this car. Every time we came to a milestone, a deadline, he showed up with the homework. It wasn't correct, but he showed up with something that I could fix. And I think when he got to the end, besides his computer crashing, he was able to put out a car. This is incorrect. This is overlapping geometry. This will show up on your render. I'm looking for examples of ingons. This stuff right here, you get weird pinching like that. You see this right here? I'm going to go ahead and merge this. I just cleaned up all that. See that? I just undid that. None of this is merged here. It looks like it's merged here, but I go into 3 mode, none of it's merged. Clean that up. I just hit merge. Just points snap together there. This thing right here, this is weird because he has 2 points right there. This is very hard to see. There's another point right there. This is the type of stuff that, you know, when I worked in the industry, I got written up for. My art director was like, "Why is all your stuff floating? Why are these pinched?" Because I'm passing this off to maybe another artist, and they get upset because it doesn't run in the game engine. In film, TV, animation, it matters and it doesn't matter because you don't have to run it through a game engine, but it has to render. But you may not see this like this from this angle, but if this shows up and I'm looking at this and I'm a director, they're going to be very, very upset with that asset, this geometry. So having good, clean models and having a way to pull all this together. If you start out now developing that workflow and that work ethic, you won't have that problem. See, this could have been tighter here. See, there's a lot of different things. I can look at geometry right away and say, oh, there's problems. So, and I can get very picky about trying to fix it too, which I'm not. Again, this student showed up on time every day. This is overlapping geometry. Showed up on time every day, and he kept up with the class, the passes, and he got a B out of the class, a high B. This looks like this happens a lot. This is a side view mirror. There's nothing there on the inside. It's not constructed. It's just like a leaf, and it has double geometry in there. And I believe the car door is paper thin, and there's double geometry everywhere. Look at this window here. This entire thing is an ingon. He has, look how many points he has. This thing is reading 12 tries, 1 faces. Yeah, this is again, in film and TV and animation, this can render well, but in a video game this would crash the engine. Never render like that. The back of this, so this is all in the, now I've recorded this for this reason, so you guys can reference back to saying, hey, my car shouldn't be at this level. Even though, like I said, this guy got a B for many other reasons. If he were just sort of an irresponsible student and he turned this in, his grade would have been a lot lower. So I'll stop the video now and then I'll take some questions and then we'll move forward.